or what have you. So the advice I've gotten and I'm using at my home is to date the window decal that I have and update it as needed. I had wanted to bring some with you and I realized I only had a small handful, but you can go online, search for them, and find them, usually provided by the national animal organizations like the Humane Society of the United States, American Humane Society, ASPCA, for little or no cost. So you can get those. Clackamas County Animal Services has them, so you can check those things out. Again, partner with one or more neighbors. If you've got at least one neighbor that you know or can get to know and feel comfortable with, I'd suggest trading keys with them. Obviously, you need to be able to trust them, but ask them if they're willing to help in an emergency, if they're able, and hopefully you can reciprocate with them. Show them where your animals hide, where you keep the medicine, etc. And then think again about permanent and temporary marking. Okay, what works for you? Some other identification tips. These documents on the slide are from Animal Aid in Portland, and it, like the other resources in the presentation, I will be posting on the Weebly site so you can see it in detail. They have the recommendation of making a lost flyer now before your cat, dog, horse, pig, whatever is lost. Include those pictures from, again, different angles as well as a shot of you with the animal, and include the animal's particulars, its size, species, gender, your information, your emergency, your alternative emergency contact, your out-of-state contacts information, your veterinarian's name and number. Include all that in the flyer and have it ready so that if the animal runs away tomorrow or an earthquake hits and the house is compromised, the animal gets out, you're already ready to put up flyers. They also suggest you consider putting your animal in your will. If you don't have a will at all, please, please, please get one soon and consider putting your animals in it. Does anyone know who decides what happens to your property, your kids, and your animals if you die without a will? The state. Nothing, no disrespect to the state, but I'd like to have more personal control over that. And so I have a will with reference to what happens to my animals in different situations. The Animal Aid organization also suggests a power of attorney for your animals. If you are incapacitated, what do you want done with animals? Who do you want to take care of them? I have a general power of attorney that I've addressed my animals in as well as other things. So hope it doesn't happen, but if any of us are in a car accident tomorrow and we're incapacitated, who knows that there's an animal there at home and needs to be taken care of, and who has the authority to take care of them and make decisions for you on your behalf? The other document that they offer is one that they suggest you carry in your car in an envelope. If you are in that car accident, the authorities would find the letter and be alerted that there are animals at home that need tending to. I've done something a little different, and I'll get around to posting it on the Weebly site as well. What I have is a letter authorizing my neighbors or anyone who walks into an emergency clinic, my veterinarian or any other veterinary clinic with my animals, and I have pictures of each of the animals in this letter, authorizing them to seek care for my animals. If someone comes showing you this animal, please take care of them. Now, that's not a guarantee that any particular clinic is going to respect that generic letter, but it empowers that neighbor that I've agreed to reciprocate with to seek medical attention for my animals if they need to, or anyone else that might come along. And it gives the clinic some assurances that there's a responsible party who intends to pay for care that's needed. And in the letter, I give them all of the ways they can get a hold of me, my next of kin, my veterinarian. I say in that letter, my veterinarian can make decisions on my behalf if you can't reach him, because ideally the animal's at his clinic anyway, and he would be making those calls for me. So think about those sort of things, okay? Lots of suggestions there. One more tip on reunification with an animal. Different people have different opinions on microchipping. That's, again, a personal choice. If it's something that you do, be sure that you register your chip with the manufacturer that you select. There's several different brands out there, and the technologies are getting better, but they still don't all talk to each other. Most of the emergency animal shelters that I've been involved with, that I've worked in, that I've heard about, trained with, have multiple scanners or generic scanners that recognize most chips, but that's not good enough for me. So register your chip with your manufacturer. But I've also come across freepetchipregistry.com, and you can see their mission there is to have a comprehensive resource that's free for all chipped animals, so that there's a way to get that, to scan the chip, whoever's manufacturer it is, and get your information out of it. Again, I'm going to stop short of endorsing them. I don't know much more about the organization. I encourage you to check it out and see if that's something you want to do. I want to go back to the idea of everyday disasters and personal emergencies for a minute. In terms of preparing for those everyday emergencies, according to the Red Cross, home fires are the biggest threat that we face in the U.S. Every day the Red Cross responds to, on average, 1 fire every 9 minutes. Okay, so it's happening to a lot of us every day. So I want to spend a few minutes on house fires, which may not be what you thought you were coming to hear about in this class. You might have been thinking the big earthquake, and that's relevant, but this happens every single day. Now for this, I'd like to ask, I've asked for a volunteer, and Eric was gracious to join me. Eric, as you come up, you want to shout out, I guess I should repeat, you're with Pacific Northwest? Did I say? Sorry, say it again. Mountain Wave Search and Rescue. They do radio communications for several search and rescue operations for people incidents, and particularly affiliated with Clackamas County, but travel around as need be as well. So Eric is going to come up and be a volunteer with me. Everyone, please welcome Eric, and thank you for volunteering. I'm going to give you the scenario and share the scenario with everyone else, and then we'll go from there. So imagine, if you will, it's Christmas Eve. Now I realize everyone may not celebrate Christmas, just play along with me for the time being, okay? So it's Christmas, Eric and his family, and that's your family over there, the table you came from. Hi everybody, that's your family for today. And you're over there at the dinner table having Christmas dinner. In the adjoining room, in the living room, you've decorated for Christmas, and you have a Christmas tree, all lit up. And when I give you the key, you will see that an electrical short has sparked a fire, and the tree is on fire. And it's an open floor plan, so you can see that, but you're in a different room. It's going to take you a moment to recognize it. All right, so here's our living room Christmas tree, and he's having dinner next door. This is online. I'll be posting it on the website, and it's got a counter on it, so you can see how much time has passed. So they're enjoying dinner. Oh, look, we've got a fire. Okay, you can see it. It's visual. Eric, go. He's like, oh, no, I got to get the... Okay. Oh, well, you know what? 10 seconds, and he knew where the fire extinguisher was. It's not very far away from him. And in 10 seconds, 12 seconds, is this a fire he can put out at home? He knew what to do. He had it handy. And folks, it can be that fast. Depends on the environment, depends on what's burning, but you didn't even get up here to try to put it out.
Obviously, I need to do a better job of watering.
And obviously, he needs to be watering his Christmas tree and checking his wiring. This happens in homes every Christmas, and we're heading into the holiday season, so please think about this and just realize how quickly it can get out of control. The two options you have are to fight the fire or to get out. It's wonderful to have fire extinguishers in your home. You probably should, but every firefighter I have talked with said, just get out, okay? It's going to have to be your first priority. So I'll go ahead and run through this for you. It's a pretty powerful video. At this point, you can see the dark smoke. You're getting down to where the air is cleaner. Half a minute. To the house, you probably don't even know it's happened yet. Still less than a minute. Okay, blackout. So other random fire tips. Fighting fires. Poor Eric didn't get up here to fight that fire. The recommendation from firefighters is that we at home, with our training and our level of training and the style of fire extinguishers we have, the size, the capacity, we should not attempt to put out a fire any larger than a waste basket. So about that big. Otherwise, your first plan should just be get out. So keep that in mind. I suggest that you install alarms not only in your home, but if you have livestock, in your barns and outbuildings as well. Ideally, you would have some sort of an auditory system that's loud enough you could hear it in the house, but at least something where you may have a chance of hearing that there's a fire in the barn. Test it monthly. Test all your alarms monthly. A few tips for you, and if you guys are ahead of me on this curve, good for you, but a few tips that were new to me not long ago. One is that I was testing my alarms with a flame. I'd strike a match and blow it out and let the smoke drift up to the ceiling. It's like that's how it's supposed to work. That seemed practical to me. Well, the smoke alarms have test buttons. It turns out the manufacturers want you to use the test buttons. So don't do that. Don't do what I was doing. Use the button. Now, the other thing that I learned recently, which again may not be new to all of you, but so I've stopped lighting a match and letting the smoke drift up, but I was climbing up on a chair and pushing the button. Well, this smart gentleman uses his cane, and the rest of us can use our broomsticks. Love those broomsticks. You don't need to invite hazard climbing up on step stools and chairs and ladders and that sort of thing once a month. So again, maybe y'all smarter than me and already thought of that, but just in case. The other thing that I like to suggest in terms of animal preparedness is that you plan for whatever time the month that you test your smoke alarms, that you also spend some time with your animals. If you have household animals, know that statistically most fires start in the middle of the night when we're sleeping and less able to respond quickly. So I have begun training my animals to come to the bedroom when I test the smoke alarm, so that if they hear an alarm, hopefully they salivate like Pavlov's dogs and come running to the bedroom for treats where I can grab them and go out the window. I'm not there yet. It's a work in progress. It takes time. It won't work for everybody, but think about those sort of things. If you have livestock, practice at the same time of the month, evacuating them from the barn or their pasture or whatever, and haltering and trailer loading them so that they are used to that process, that it's not new to them in the moment when it's scary and time is critical. Have a plan and practice that evacuation plan, and practice it with your animals. To share a personal story, I feel horrible when I admit this, but I actually bagged my cats in sleeping bags, zip-tied them, pushed the screen out my bedroom window, crawled out, ran around the front of the house, to the front of the house going, I'm sorry, went in the front door and let the animals loose. I wanted to know I could do that. Think about it. If, as my next image shows, if your bedroom is not on the ground floor, how will you accomplish that if you had to? How would you do it yourself? How would your human family members do it based on age, agility, fitness, whatever? And if you have animals in the house, how would you get out with them? Now maybe in some instances you simply can't. Maybe you can't. But stop and think about it and see, can you get some sort of evacuation tools that might make it more likely you can get out. Again, I'm going to stop short of endorsing products, but I have chosen to purchase an item I got online called EvacuSac. You can put, depending on how big they are, a couple, 2, 3 cats or small dogs, amphibians, lizards, what have you in here, cinch it shut, swing it over your shoulder, and head out. Better than the pillowcases if you have it, because those pillowcases can, we often use old ones that are a little threadbare, and cats, if you have cats, and even dogs with long claws, can claw right through them, and that has happened in rescue situations. If that's all you've got, that's all you've got. I finally admitted to my mother that I had done this with the cats one day, and she, having been a nurse for many years, said, well, why don't you just do what we do in nursing homes? Grab the sheets, bundle everyone up, and go. It's like, well, now you tell me. So there's a few options you can do there, but think about what might work for you. So I have some homework for you guys, obviously, and it's personalized, but I want to ask you to take at least one step tonight to move yourself forward. Because the only thing harder than explaining why you need to prepare for disasters, explain why you didn't after the fact.